the hour. Disney adding danger signs and putting up a protective fence after the deadly alligator attack that killed a 2-year-old little boy, Lane Graves, earlier this week. But is this too little too late? New reports say that the resort staff warned that gators were getting too close to guests, but that Disney ignored the problem. Here to discuss the legality and liability, Jonna Spilbor and Remy Spencer, both former prosecutors and criminal defense attorneys. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Jonna, I'll start with you. I mean, just such a tragic situation, but what do you think the outcome is going to be as far as liability goes?
You know, this is interesting because I think Disney does have a defense against liability. I mean, look, there were two wrongs here. One, a child should not be beyond arm distance from a parent, no matter where they are when you're 2 years old. And number two, a simple sign warning of alligators probably would have allowed the parents not to leave the child alone. So there's liability on both sides. In a case like this, though, where there's so much public outcry, even if Disney defended perfectly and the law said you're not responsible, Disney will pay anyway. That's
probably do so quietly, would you say, Remy?
I don't know if it's going to be quiet. I think that Disney has a major public relations problem now. So whatever they do to try and make this family whole, and of course they'll never be able to make them whole again, they're going to want the public to know that these are the steps that they took. Because as a resort owner, they have a legal obligation to keep their customers safe. It's a reasonable obligation under the law. And the question here, I think, as a matter of law is, did they warn their guests? Did they let them know that there was this kind of danger? I think based on the way this has been reported, most of us would say that they didn't. So Disney would, if they were smart, in my opinion, offer this family a sum of money and other things to make them feel whole, and then also do things to make it safer at their resort so it doesn't happen again.
Well, Disney has given a statement. They did this yesterday. They said, we are installing signage and temporary barriers at our resort beach locations and are working on permanent long-term solutions. We continue to evaluate processes and procedures for our entire property. And as part of this, we are reinforcing training with our cast for reporting sightings and interactions with wildlife and are expanding our communications to guests on this topic. I mean, John, pretty much everybody who's there, a large portion of them are tourists. They may not be from Florida. Floridians know the dangers of alligators, but some other folks may not.
And I think that was precisely the problem here. You have a family from Nebraska. They're not familiar with the lay of the land in Florida. You're at a resort where you think everything is, I mean, they bill itself as the happiest place on earth. You don't plan on getting eaten by an alligator there. And a couple of simple signs, not no swimming, but alligators, beware. And I think those parents would have made a different decision, and we wouldn't be talking about it today. And I'm so sad that we have to.
Yeah, me too. And Remy, finally, the new signs that they're putting up and the temporary barriers, if they keep that up and make it even stronger or higher potentially, could that stop liability in the future?
Potentially. And as lawyers, we talk about warnings so that the company's not liable. But let's take a step back and have some perspective. Why are there alligators in this lagoon steps or feet from the resort? I think, in my opinion, Disney would be wise to try and remove all of these deadly animals in its resort, in its areas where people have access.
Yeah, Herman Sproul. All right, ladies, thank you so much for your time. What a tragic story.